Hey everyone, welcome to Crystal Walters podcast. Today we have an exciting guest. Her name's Jada. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, Jada, will you share with us what you are currently doing in the real estate industry?
So I'm a DSCR mortgage specialist. For those that don't know what that is, essentially I help people get DSCR loans. So DSCR loans are no income, no employment verifications. So that means no tax returns, no pay stubs that you have to give to the lender. These loans are really good for investors, full-time investors, 1099 workers, entrepreneurs, small business owners. Again, you don't have to qualify for this loan based off of your tax return or any kind of pay stubs. So really, if you're asking yourself, if I don't need to show my own income, then how am I going to qualify for this loan? So that's where the actual word, when you break down what DSCR means, it's debt service coverage ratio. So debt service is your mortgage payments, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And essentially you're looking at the rental income of a property. So these are loans that are geared towards rental properties, because rather than looking at you as the borrower, rather than looking at you and saying, well, how much are you going to make monthly to pay this debt? You're looking at, okay, how much is the house going to get monthly in order to pay off the mortgage? So they're looking at rental income. So again, going back to the DSCR, so debt service coverage ratio, essentially it's the ratio between the rental income that you're getting and the mortgage payments. So if you have $1,000 in rental income that you're getting monthly and $1,000 in mortgage payments, that's a 1.0 ratio, or like a ratio of 1. So that would mean that your house qualifies, or the property qualifies for the loan. So like I said, these loans are fantastic for a lot of investors. These are 30-year loans. So if you're looking to purchase rental properties, or if you're looking to refinance properties and hold them long term, this is the loan to get. That's currently what I do in real estate. Again, I help investors grow their rental portfolio and scale by giving them these loans so that they can purchase rental properties, or so that they can refinance a property, and if it was a flip, and then actually keep it long term. So these are long-term loans. These are 30-year loans. Generally, they're fixed, but just like any loan, you can have an ARM, you can do interest only. There's a lot of different options. Now, I like to go fixed rate just in general. I feel like that's a much easier way to live your life until you're a really seasoned investor. And if you want to play around with interest only or whatever it may be, feel free to do that. But when it comes to adjustable mortgages, it's not my forte.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely vital for us investors to be able to go to those DSCR loans and to reach out to you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, how
Appreciate
did
it.
you get into this field?
I've been in the real estate investing field for about 4 years now, almost four years. I joined Sub2 back in 2021, and from there I did everything. I did dispo, wholesaling, lending, connecting, Airbnb arbitrage, and so I was doing a ton of things. And in 2023 and 2024, I had worked with another group, and we had our own wholesaling team going on, and I realized I was not a fan of wholesaling. There's just a lot of moving pieces, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get in touch with a couple other Sub2 members that actually had their own hard money lending company. So I am working with those members. They're out here based in Houston. And so we had met, I think, at the Golden Ticket event last year, yeah, in Phoenix. And they're just letting people know, hey, if you want to try your hand at lending and understand, what it means for people to get hard money loans if they're going to flip a property and all that good stuff, they were telling me, hey, you can be a loan officer with us. So I was starting with them, and then after a while, they kind of noticing, hey, well, we have a lot of flippers, and sometimes flippers will want to refinance and keep their properties. And so that's when I opened up their DSCR department, and not of my own volition, granted. I don't want to make it sound like I'm this super clever, like insanely clever genius or anything. They told me, Jada, there's this gap right here, and we think that we can utilize this. So you open up our DSCR department, you're in charge, and that's how I got into the DSCR world, and I have loved it. This is so fun. It's fantastic.
That is fabulous. I love how you're able to connect with people who could see that potential in you. So, like, being able to bring you into their realm and, like, really share you so that you can shine. It's beautiful. And I'm glad that you love it. Oh,
Yeah, I'm definitely very fortunate. One, for them, like you were saying, for them to even reach out to me and say, "Hey, here's this opportunity," and then for me to actually like what the opportunity meant. Yeah, I just feel incredibly fortunate.
that's awesome. So, what obstacles have you had to overcome as you were learning this and going through that learning phase?
DSCR or real estate in general?
Both.
Well, if you're an investor, you're pretty much a business owner. So that was something that I don't think a lot of people really are forthright about or really put a lot of attention to and highlight. So that was a big thing to understand. This isn't just going to be me buying properties and then growing my portfolios or me helping other people do that. When you get into real estate and you're like, oh no, I want to do this, I really want to scale, it is a full business. So that's something that has been really interesting to understand and just see as I've gotten further and further into real estate as well as DSCR. You're in charge of marketing, you're in charge of customer service, you're in charge of customer success and kind of everything in the back end, the front end, and everywhere in between. So although it can be a lot, it's really cool to be able to be in this field and understand all of those aspects now. Because now you're not just, hi, I'm Jada, I'm in the marketing department or anything. It's like, no, I'm Jada, I am all the departments. And you just feel like a more rounded individual.
That makes sense. I've seen a lot of what you post on Instagram and I am a fan. I'm like, she's so authentic and she shows her genuine self. You're just so wonderful to be around. Like, I haven't personally met you, but like, I met you through social media and it's been wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Again, you're the perfect example of how to make everything work as a business owner and being that marketing and sharing that with, like, sharing everything that you know with those around you.
Mm, so sweet.
So, have you had anyone in your life who's really been like a mentor or any specific quotes that you have that's helped you persevere through the real estate industry?
I haven't had one main true mentor. I've found that so many people have been a guiding force for me throughout everything that I've done. As far as, what has helped me during difficult times, one quote by Alex Hermosi, he says, "Don't do your best, do what is required." So that is helpful because a lot of times I remember in the past when I was first starting, I was like, whoa, okay, this is a lot to do. I'm really tired right now. Like, I can't deal with this. And then he's like, no, do what is required. So I'm like, okay, well, let me, if I have some posts to make, maybe I could take a quick break and kind of reset. But at the end of the day, I need to finish certain tasks. So if I need to write posts, it's like, okay, let me clear my mind so that at least I know I'll write something. But let me make sure that I write this thing. And so having more of that do what is required in my mind, I have really started to actually optimize most of what I do. So I've started, what's it called? I was reading and watching a lot of Dan Martell videos, and he talks about systemizing your business and kind of systemizing your life. And by doing what is required, as well as kind of combining Dan Martell says a lot about if you're scheduling your time, make sure that you're actually scheduling it based off of your energy levels. So like really pay attention to what kind of person you are and what you feel at certain times of the day, and that also goes into who are you talking to, what are you eating, what tasks are you doing, because now if I'm going to do what is required, I want to make sure that I'm not doing tasks that involve me to use my brain a lot, like when it comes to marketing or making posts or actually writing posts. I'm not going to do that right after lunch, right after I eat. I want to make sure that I'm doing that at a time that I'm, most optimized to be able to complete that task. So that's just been interesting, and it's been incredibly helpful to just schedule my days and actually schedule out, okay, I know that I'm more focused doing more focused for this task at this time of the day. So I'm going to be focusing on that. And it's just restructured kind of everything that I do. And I'm a big believer in how beneficial routines are for people, at least for a majority of, or at least a lot of individuals, myself included. So that was a huge thing, understanding I can do a task and I can finish it, but I can also make it so that I'm not pushing myself maybe at the end of the day when I'm incredibly tired. It's like, oh no, just put a little more extra thought and you can do these tasks in like 10 minutes if you do it in the morning or whatever it may be.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I've found that in my life. If I prioritize the tasks that need to get done right away, like I do best in the morning. So like knowing how I function is ideal for getting things accomplished. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
So what has been your favorite part of doing the DSCR loans and investing in general?
Well, I'll say kind of more towards the DSCR loan since that's really what I focus on as opposed to investing as well. It's just been to be able to help people. And like the more that I see or I guess the more deals that I'm able to help with and help get DSCR loans to, the more just intricate deals that I start seeing. So I see a lot of people who need funding for pad splits or for co-living property, which is essentially renting out by the room. I see a lot of people who are wanting to get short-term rentals like Airbnbs and all these different types of exit strategies where people aren't just buying a rental property and then renting it out long term. It's like, no, there's a ton of different strategies, and it's just been really fun to see and be able to be a helpful guide in people's kind of accomplishing their goals or getting closer and closer to their goals. And then from that too, I actually start learning about how each of these strategies go as well. So I understand now, okay, if I want to buy a rental property, what does the rent need to be so that I can have, a good ratio? Or, oh, okay, yeah, I'm refinancing a short-term rental. Okay, what does that look like? What is the best timing to start the refinance process? And so I'm just getting a lot of different, I'm able to live vicariously through a lot of the investors, but then I'm also able to learn from a lot of them. And now not only am I learning for myself, but now I'm also learning for future investors should they not understand, a lot of these things going on here. So it's really cool. I feel like I get to just get a ton of experience, not just for myself, but from other people.
That's amazing. That actually goes right into the next question of what advice do you have for new investors to help them on their journey?
I would say talk and try to work with other people that are actually doing deals. For instance, I'm not just doing DSCR loans myself. I'm working with a team of people that already have their own hard money lending company, so they already have experience in the lending field. So anytime I run into a roadblock, I can just go to them and say like, okay, how do I do this? Themselves, the owners of the hard money lending company, they're also investors. So they've been investing for over 10 years. They've done countless flips and rental properties and all these different kinds of exit strategies. So I get to utilize their experience and shrink essentially the like learning time frame for myself. And so I think that's huge. Not having to do everything by yourself is a superpower. So that's where I think working for other people and figuring out by seeing what they do, and if they have Zooms or meetups, attending those meetups and not just asking them, how can I help you? It's like, no, pay attention to what they do and try to figure out what is best. So if you see somebody that's a lender, that's awesome, but maybe you can see that they don't post a lot. So maybe you can try to schedule a quick call or ask them and ask them, how are you getting your leads? What does your marketing look like? Maybe you can help them with that. Maybe you can help them make posts or flyers and whatnot. And from there, I've just noticed a lot of people, if you try to help and if you're helping in ways that they're not necessarily explicitly telling you, that you're actually putting the time to think about what they might need, that's when you're going to get the most kind of mentorship or guidance or opportunities that they'll want to open up for you. So that's been a huge thing. Huge.
For sure. I love those tidbits that you gave because it's not just like, what do you need? It's what do I see that I know I can help you with?
Mm-hmm.
because that really builds that connection and shows that we really care and that we're not just there to be like, tell me what to do.
Yeah. No, that's exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Because if you're telling people, or if you're asking people like, tell me what to do, or like, what can I do, you're putting more work on them, and now you're making their brain process more, and people don't like that. And yeah, you just want to be very reciprocal, or if not reciprocal, then you want to be very giving to people that you want to be like. And if you're just asking them, what do you need, or can you hire me, or whatever it may be, it doesn't really feel reciprocal. It feels like, you're asking for things, and while you're also giving it back, it's like they're just telling you what you asked for. So it seems almost like you're a little more taking rather than giving.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much again for your time, Jada. Our last
Yeah.
question is, how can people reach out to you?
So I would say Instagram is the best way to reach out to me. It's my name right here, if you can read it, at Jada Thoele, JadaThoele. And that's pretty much how it is on all of the platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. It's all of my name, at Jada Thoele. So that's the best way to reach out to me. Again, Instagram is really good because it's pretty easy to just send a message if you have any questions. And I hope I can hear from some people.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much again, and we'll hear from you soon.
All right, I look forward to it. Thank you, Crystal.
All right. You're welcome. So, again, reach out to Jada and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more wonderful investors. Thank you.